The chairman calls the Mahoney County Board of Elections will hold a regular meeting of the board on Tuesday, March 5th, 2024 at 4 p.m. in the boardroom of the Mahoney County Board of Elections office, 345 Oak Hill Avenue, Youngstown, Ohio, 44502. Would the director call the roll, please?
Ms. Barger?
Here.
Attorney Beatrice?
Here.
Mr. Orange?
Here.
Ms. Calpesto?
Here.
Would the vice chairwoman please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We have a moment of silence for our nation and for all those less fortunate. Thank you. The chair will now entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the February 6th, 2024 regular board meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Is there any questions? Hearing none, would the director call the roll, please?
Ms. Barger?
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice?
Yes.
Mr. Orange?
Yes.
Ms. Calpesto?
Yes.
The chairman's report. Here's the chairman's report. Oh, what did I do wrong?
Bills.
Oh,
Bill.
could we approve the bills of account? Thank you, Joyce, Sandra. Always making sure I make every error, please highlight it. Would we approve the bills of accounts and payment for December 2023 and January and February of 2024? If I can have just a moment, I looked at them before. Just want to look at them again real quick.
Refund to the state, was that for a grant that we didn't use all?
That's correct.
Where's that line item now?
Refund to the state,
Okay.
1,000.
Now, the phones, is that for cell phones?
That's for election day cell phones.
Okay, but we only pay, do we have any other cell phones besides election day cell phones?
I do not, I think Chris and Melissa do.
Okay.
And Susie might do.
Okay. And they know that's only to be used for
Election purposes.
election purposes, right? I want you to emphasize that to them. All right, so the chair will now entertain a motion to approve the bills of account and payments. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Joyce Kehl-Pesta. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Bob Arndt. Is there any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, would the director call the roll, please?
Ms. Barger?
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice?
Yes.
Mr. Orange?
Yes.
Ms. Calpesto?
Yes.
Chairman's report. The only thing I want to report is I talked to Melissa today. Before the November election, I want to have a group meeting with the staff and the entire board.
Okay.
I want everyone's A game on this November election. Everyone's going to be under scrutiny. I want everyone ahead of time to know. Everyone has to bring us their A game. We got to measure twice and cut once. And I would like the whole board to meet with the staff so we could stress to them that this is a consequential election. Everyone's going to be looking at everything. I want it to be as flawless as possible.
This is post-election, after the primary?
After the primary, but before the November general election. Okay? I would just like to have a group meeting with them all. Other than that, I don't have anything else. Does the director have a report?
No, election preparation is going well. We're basically full on our poll workers as they call off or report off, we're filling them in. So right now, as of today, we're 1 or 2 short, which is nothing. We're looking at pretty low turnout, probably in the low 20s, based on the absentees and early vote. Just not a lot of interest out there, and we're seeing that across the state with other counties. So turnout's been.
I voted today. I gotta give our staff kudos. I mean, you got, it's like a well-oiled machine over there. It really
It
is.
runs well out there.
Runs
Who's in
very well.
charge Does a great job. over there.
People want to early
Staff.
vote. It's so easy. It's so fast. It's so convenient.
And then we do have 3 locations changing. St. Michael's and Canfield. It's going to be Canfield Fair. Wasn't our choice. St. Paul's in Springfield and Middletown. We're using Springfield Elementary. which wasn't ideal, but it was last minute. We were notified that St. Paul's was pulling out. And then a temporary change, Boardman Government Center's going to go to the library, and Boardman United Methodist, just for this election, will be back June 11th to the Boardman Government Center.
Now, Melissa told me something about driver's tests, but we're gonna have cones out and police officers in a
Yeah.
alley. Could you discuss that? with
Sure,
us, please?
Campbell Fair, we're gonna use their new community center. But we're gonna use the entrance coming into the fairgrounds, because there's something else going on out there that weekend. We're gonna have the engineers department and the sheriff's department putting cones out, directing people to that location to get across the fairgrounds. Because it's, how many precincts are there? 8, 9 precincts?
8 or 9.
I think there's 9.
There wasn't many options to go to. We
I'm
checked
shocked they let you use it, because I know them.
Melissa was very persuasive. Melissa
That's
got it
good,
done.
that's
She-
great.
Yeah, it's a nice location. We've been out there before with the director,
Mhm. We
with,
liked it,
the
yeah.
government building.
Mhm.
So we're gonna see how it works out, and I
It'd be
think
great
it
to
will.
stay there.
It'd be great to stay there.
Great to stay there.
We're not going back to St. Michael's anytime
No.
soon. The other big location was Old North, which we used at one point, but not welcome there
We're
anymore.
not welcome there anymore.
So, yeah, so we're hoping the Campbell Fairground works out.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Any unfinished business?
I do have
Go ahead.
something to say. I understand that in this building there was a big water damage problem.
There was, it was on last Friday, the 4th floor, the main
Right.
pipe broke. And it came down to the 3rd floor, 2nd, and our office on the 1st floor.
So this is the 4th time we've had water,
Or at least. Joyce.
at least the 4th time,
Yeah.
4th or 5th. This is a big concern for me because we have millions of dollars worth of machinery. We were lucky where it hit, that it didn't hit right where we have it. Remember when it hit back there when we had all the OBS 200s? So I really feel that we as a board need to think about some other options that we might have where this building is concerned and where this water problem is concerned, because the pipes are so old. I think the one handle broke off of the one pipe. They couldn't even, it was so rusty.
Is there anything, that Joyce brings up a good point. I mean, if a pipe breaks and our machines go down, we are really in trouble.
We are, between now and election day, we'd be in trouble.
So is there anything we can do? Can we ask the maintenance department anything? Could we build a temporary shelter over them or
You
something?
never, well, we do put plastic over the machines, but when we're this close to election, when the machines are uncovered, we're loading them and taking them places. So the problem is that if it happens, we don't know where it's gonna happen. I mean, it's happened all over this building.
My point is there a shed or something where they could build it that would cover those machines? I think it would be a well-spent money on our part.
But we have copiers up here, I mean, we have.
The copiers, I'm not worried about. The voting machines,
I'm worried about the voting machines too.
that would be a big problem.
And e-poll books. Don't
And
forget
e-poll
poll
books. So
books, don't
my
forget
question is, can we inquire whether some type of a shed or some type of a shelter can be built over just the voting machines?
that. You know what some boards do, David? They actually have an off-site warehouse. The board stays here.
Oh, I don't, you'd have a hard time convincing me to let those machines out of our,
Well, the
I
other
want the
option
public
is-
to know they're here, they're under guard, they're protected.
The
I
other
think.
option is the board can go anywhere it wants to. If this building is such a problematic, it might be something to think about where we might wanna go.
I think the commissioner's in the process of doing a study. We met with a couple consultants
Oh, good.
about usage of the building and what they can do. I think it's quite long-term, and something at least the commissioners are looking at. And
Well, we're an
I won't
independent
wanna
board.
do it this year anyway.
If we
Yeah.
wanna move, we can move, if we have the money.
Yeah, when it comes to office space, if you look at, I think it's titled, it's 3501, maybe 39 or 50, one of those. The commissioners would still have to go along with us.
They do?
They would on that, providing space for the board. It would be more of a joint decision when it comes to that.
To me,
Well, how much space do you take up here? How many square?
They were doing that study, so
Oh,
they
okay.
measured, and they're going to report
Okay.
that. We have a lot of
We have a lot of
space.
space.
Well, there's a lot of empty office space around
Yes,
too.
there is.
There is.
There's spaces at the Boardman Plaza, I mean, there's lots of space.
yeah, Boardman Plaza, Southern Park Mall.
Yeah.
Downtown,
You
yes.
learned something.
But,
Oh, it's
In the
parking,
past-
that's right.
In the past, they looked at downtown force, but it's a
no, we
parking
need
issue.
parking.
Yeah.
But I think the Campfield is centrally located in the county. I think we should start looking at that then, but in the meantime,
David is good.
in the meantime, can we see if maintenance can build some kind of a shed or some kind of a temporary structure? It could be corrugated, you know,
Yeah.
the
Right.
green stuff, just to cover the machines. Should water hit, it would just run off and into the back, because we would be, I mean, Joyce is right, God forbid, before the presidential election, we have half of our machines go down. I mean, what would we do?
That happened about 15 years ago in a small county, water line break, and the vendor had to come in with new equipment at the last minute. The problem is, we're a larger county, I'm not sure.
We have
if
a lot
our
more
vendor-
equipment.
Yeah, I don't know if our vendor could replace that many machines at the last.
Well, I think, Joyce, thank you for bringing it up. This is a pressing concern now. We have to protect those machines, and we cannot risk losing a machine, not one, in a presidential year due to a pipe break.
Right.
So I would like the board to, well, I'm gonna direct the director and assistant director to get a hold of maintenance and see if there is some kind of a temporary shelter they could build over it. Should water come down, it would not hit the machines. I know they're covered in plastic, but when we uncover them,
Right.
there's something temporary that could be built, I think,
Right.
that would protect them from that.
Maybe every night they just need to cover those machines back
Back up.
up.
We actually bought that couple and so because we had
It's
a
a
problem.
4,000 square foot warehouse. It's a big
Yeah,
warehouse.
it's an issue.
Is it a bigger problem than just canopies? Canopies work?
That's what I'm saying, that's what I'm thinking, a canopy type of a thing. With, you ever see those green stuff, it's,
Yeah, it's that
We
stuff
could-
they put around trailers and
Yeah.
stuff, yeah.
I mean, we could do something on a temporary basis, not that expensive. Is my suggestion, and we should definitely look into it. I think that's, thank you, Joyce, I think that's forward-looking, that's being proactive. Because can you imagine the criticisms we take if a pipe
I've been there,
broke,
David, with this water issue.
okay, and our machines went down? Oh my God, I wouldn't even wanna have to deal or try to explain it, please. I'd like a report by next meeting.
And I really wouldn't want to make any big decisions until the off-year election, you know, like if we do decide to go.
I agree with you, but I think we need to
Do
put
something
something
now.
temporary.
I agree too.
I mean, it could just be, like Bob said, something, it doesn't have to be anything permanent, it could be, you know, it doesn't have, just to protect it from the water, that's it.
Cover those machines every night with.
They could literally put poles up, slam it, so it runs down and away from the machine.
Maybe
Yeah,
we have
even
more
one of
time
those-
to
even
take
one of those
a
tents
trip to
come
the
on.
warehouse and we'll take a look at it.
Even a tent, you know, if you could get them all underneath a tent,
Yeah.
the water would run off the tent. If it doesn't fair.
No, I'm serious, we should look at that. I'd like something from you and Melissa by next meeting.
Okay.
I mean, let's get some options on the table.
I know, I hate to bring it up, but it is a concern of mine.
I'm glad you brought it up. I'm glad you brought it up. Can you imagine if on November 1st, we had a major water break and 50% of our machines went down? We'd be in big trouble.
If it happened Friday morning, we'd been in big trouble if it would happen,
This next Friday.
or Friday at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, and nobody's here. Yeah.
That's why I'm saying we need to tenant, put something temporary up to protect those machines. Because this is an old building. Joyce is right on that.
Yeah.
All right, anything else under unfinished business? So you and Melissa will bring us a report by next meeting? All right. New business, I see we have to approve Chris Rackesy's vacation time, and I am all in favor of this. Because if Chris takes all the vacation he's entitled to, we wouldn't be able to function. So I encourage a motion to cash out Chris Rackesy's vacation time.
So moved.
There is a motion made by Joyce Kelpesta. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice Chairwoman Sandra Barker. Is there any questions or concerns? Yeah, here's my concern. Thank God that he hasn't taken all this vacation time. We'd be in trouble.
Oh, yeah. We'd be like most counties where we have to bring a vendor in.
Yeah, program it. That's
Yeah.
very expensive, very expensive.
Any other questions? Hearing none, would the director call the roll, please?
Ms. Barger?
Yes.
Attorney Petros?
Yes.
Mr. Arch?
Yes.
Ms. Del Testa?
Yes.
Okay. And now we turn to, do you have your timing? Because
I can type it.
you can time it. Do we have any good of the order or public comments? Anyone? Okay, all we do is, this is freedom of speech. You can stand up, just state your name, and you have 3 minutes.
Eugene Connors, live in Austin, Ohio. I'm the committee person for the 9th precinct, and I noticed you're approving some polling changes. It's March 5th, election's on the 19th. Maybe that explains why in the last election, I was going out to put up some signs at my polling place, which I think the hotel was anyway, Daisy and maybe out there at Route 46 and 80. And just happened to check my mail. My mail, for some reason, comes late now, like sometimes as late as 9 o'clock at night. Got the mail, there's a little yellow envelope, a little card telling me my location's changed. Now, I'm a committee person. I've been telling people I talk to, if they ask me, you go vote over here at the Days Inn. So I don't know. The mail is not what it is. It's either the mail or something else going on. So I don't know. But maybe there ought to be a better way of notifying people, because I picture a lot of, I'm 76, but I still work 40 hours a week, well 30 anyway, but I drive a couple thousand miles a week to learn medicine. And but not every 76-year-old is like that, and being that we're the most active voters, I think maybe we ought to help them.
Yeah. Let me just address your concerns. Polling locations are always a problem for us. And I hate changing polling locations. But some of these people just said no. And we have so many days to notify people. We are compliant under the Ohio Revised Code with notifications. The processing center has moved from Youngstown, so that's why there's a delay in the mail sometimes. Because believe it or not, the mail goes from here to Cleveland and back to here. As crazy as that sounds. So, but I know that the board and our staff are in compliance with what the Ohio Revised Code mandates us to do on notifications. And as far as polling locations, it'd be my preference if I could wave a magic wand and I'd make election days off for schools, because schools are centrally located and we could use schools. But unfortunately now, with how crazy everything is with the schools, we can't use the schools. That would be the ideal situation, to give the kids a day off, 2 days a year, and for us to use the schools. If that could happen, that'd be a wonderful fix or an answer to that problem. Because the schools are centrally located in every community. They try to do that as much as possible. And the schools could accommodate giant polling locations. So, but we're at the mercy of churches and bingo halls and government centers and libraries and all that other stuff. But thank you for bringing that up to us. But I want you to know we're compliant under the revised code with notifications. Okay?
Every location has to be approved 30 days prior to. I think in the case of Days Inn last year, they pulled out late, and it's a private business, and we didn't have much choice there.
Handicapped accessible.
Even this year, St. Paul's pulled out 40 days out.
But you're making changes tonight, so it's not that trouble.
We're just
They've already
approving
made the change.
The
Oh,
changes-
they already made it.
Yeah. And we sent out 2 postcards to every registered voter in that precinct when we first make the change, and then a week out, we send a second postcard. So it was just a point of reference to the board. I told them that we'd made those changes. The first postcards went out already on those changes.
So you understand, the board sets the policy. We don't run the place. We set the policy, the director, assistant director, and all the employees, they actually are the machinery that makes this election work. And we are tasked under Ohio law to follow Ohio law. We follow Ohio law. When we have a change of a polling location, they do what they do. They eventually have to bring it to us, and we approve it. But we don't make them wait, because we would be out of compliance if we made them wait.
no possibility that when we contract with these places that we could have some kind of a written or legal agreement that they can't pull out, like you
Well,
say they're doing?
if push came to shove, and they tried to do it too close to an election, the prosecutor's office could probably go in and get a restraining order from them doing that, but we haven't had to go that route yet. So to allow your fears, if, say, 2 days before an election, a polling place says, oh, well, we don't want you here, we would have the prosecutor's office go in, actually get a restraining order, and I don't think a judge would not hesitate to mandate that they honor that contract, because we don't have an adequate remedy of law, and we can't comply with the law. So we always have the legal route, should they try to pull any shenanigans like
Can I
that.
speak, Mr.
Go
Chairman?
ahead.
We also send out contracts at the beginning of the year. They don't send the contracts back, so we send our workers out to pick up the contracts. Sometimes that's what happened with St. Paul's. We sent them out to pick up the contract they pulled out 40 days ahead of time. It's nothing that we have control over sometimes because they just don't get back to us in time.
Now, if it's a public building, we do. We have every right to use any public building, whether it be a library, a school, a government center. We can go into those locations and tell them we're coming.
Right.
That's a little bit different than a church or a bingo
Yeah,
hall.
the problem with this, we used to be in a lot of schools, but since all the school shootings and the security, they have kicked us out of them. I don't think we have any schools, right?
2 or 3.
We have one left permanent, it's Cheney High School, and every year it's a fight with them, but we have no place on.
The way things are nowadays, I've become more afraid of churches. Just my personal opinion based on what's going on in the country.
You're not wrong. Anyone, anything else for public comments?
I'm
Go ahead, stand up
Jean
your
Stone.
name.
I'm with the League of Women Voters.
Go ahead.
Question about these polls that have changed, and if people don't get notification in time, is there going to be anything at those polls that is going to say we are no longer a place where you
Yes.
can vote?
Yeah, we just actually ordered new signage, so we ordered these large, orange, like the construction cones that we've never had before, and they'll have signage on there at the entrance to the location and at the door going in, saying that there's been a location change and where to go to. That's not something we've always posted signage. Joyce
Yeah, we
has
always
some.
put, if we have a change of location, there's a sign that goes up.
This is actually, we kind of went a step further. This is the first election we're using it. Yeah.
Okay.
And I understand that you are using Springfield Elementary, is that?
That is correct. It wasn't something we wanted to, but it was last minute. We had to meet that, we wanted to meet that 30-day deadline, and we had nothing in New Middletown to go to. So we did go to Springfield Elementary. They have a separate entrance for where we're going, so we're not using the same entrance as the students or the teachers, the employees there. We're gonna look again and go out there and look, but it was a really last-minute decision we had to make quick. So it's not ideal, but we have all summer then to try to find a place, whether it's back in the New Middletown Administration Hall where we used to be at the fire stations. We're gonna try to at least take a look at other options.
All right, anything else for public comments?
Yes.
Go ahead, stand up, state your name.
I'll talk loud. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, just state your name.
Could you stand
My name's Greg D. Dominic. I'm from Mahoning County, over in Austintown. And I wanted to ask, what is the highest expense that you incur in your budget for running the elections here in Mahoning County?
It's poll workers.
Poll workers.
Yeah, poll workers are our biggest expense. We're hiring 848 minimum poll workers. Every election, this year would be 3 elections at 848 times roughly $160, $170 per poll worker. And so that's our biggest expense during the course of the year.
And I want to commend the staff. Imagine, we have how many full-time employees? 17? 16. 14. We go from 14 to over 800 people. That's how we balloon up and balloon down. And that's a monumental task for both the director, the assistant director, and the people. We couldn't run elections without poll workers.
Right.
And so I don't know of any other organization that goes, probably 500% above what their normal employees are. And Melissa and Tom do a wonderful job, and when Joyce was there, they did a wonderful job of ballooning up and ballooning down, but that is, in any organization, it's usually the personnel is the biggest expense. we're no exception. Did you have anything else?
Yeah, out of the 840 ton that you mentioned, how many of those would you say are considered reserve, or is that separate from the 840?
Reserve is separate, and so we try to fill, we have 212 precincts. On average, you have 4 people per precinct, so that's 848. And then both Jill and Jen, who run our poll worker department, they try to bring in reserves election morning. So you'll see sometimes 12, 15 people in the hallway at 6 o'clock. And as we get call-offs, and we send those people to replace.
So in total, what would you say?
Well, if you add in the 848 poll workers, plus reserves, plus our field reps, plus provisional, we're about 940 temporary employees on
So you try to get about, what, 70 people for reserves or so, would you say?
No, about 12 to 15 for reserves, but then what we have field reps out there on election day. They have certain areas that they go to for any problems with machines or voters or equipment. We
So is it
have
12 to
runners-
15 countywide, or is that
For
per?
reserves, yes.
Okay.
And then we also have runners here. We keep 7 to 8 runners. If someone doesn't have a flag, we send a flag out. They run short on pens, we send pens out. So we keep 6 to 8 people here in office to do running throughout the day.
What would you say is the biggest challenge for the board with running the elections?
Really, if you talk to most boards around the state, it's going to be your poll workers and recruiting enough poll workers and enough poll workers, because that's your first line of defense on election day. Those are the people at that point, for all the prep we do for months, we put the election in their hands at that point.
Are we fully staffed, or do one come
Right
up?
now, we are.
That's for 3 minutes.
And it changes every day, so we get called offs every day, or people don't show up for class, and then they're working the phones throughout the day to make sure that there's someone to back them up. But come election morning, that phone starts ringing at 5:30, and it's people not showing up for work.
So the 3 minutes were allotted, it's not what we say, it's the discussion included?
Well, usually we don't have a back and forth, we just let you talk.
Okay.
But I wanted to address your concerns. If you have some other things, ask away.
Okay, all right.
And the poll workers all go through weeks of training too.
Yeah.
So
We have
it's a
weeks
lot of
of training.
dedication.
There's no
to that.
election that's perfect. Every election has little blips and blurbs everywhere. But for the most part, it doesn't affect the outcome of an election.
Well, speaking to that point, would you say that you board members would grade yourself a high score? Like if we were giving out letter grades, A through?
I would allow the representative from this Secretary of State's office, because she goes to a lot of boards, and she'll tell you, I'm not putting her on the spot, that we run a pretty good ship here.
Yes, actually, after every election, Secretary of State make sure to send out to all the boards that, you know, you guys did a great job with the election. We saw this, couldn't do it without you, and they always receive a wonderful letter that is expressing the gratitude of what they've done, how well they've done it. And I think a lot of people that even work here will say
We take our
the
job
same thing.
very seriously. We are all committed, whether we're Democrats or Republicans. We hold the people's voice, and we are the vehicle through which people express their voice to government. And we take that, I take that, I know Sandra does, I know Bob does, I know Joyce does that. I take that as one of the highest responsibilities I provide to this community. And we try to do things the best we can, and we always get thrown curveballs, we're always getting thrown things, but for the most part, I think we have a really good board. You should see some of the boards. I mean, there's food fights. We basically get along, even though we're of opposite political parties. We kind of put that aside and make sure that the elections are run the best way they can be run.
Do you think that the citizens here in Mahoning County would concur and grade you a high score as the, you know?
I believe so. We've actively gone out and we elicit and solicit anyone that wants to talk to us. We will go to you. We will explain the process to you. We will explain it from A to Z. And so, yes, I think the public has high confidence in us.
We also work on election day. We visit the polling locations. We all have districts that we go to and make sure that the operation is running well, that the poll workers are there.
All 4 of us get special passes, and I know I go to at least 17 or 18 different polling locations, talk to all the poll workers, talk to voters, everything okay. I call in here and I drive Melissa and Tom nuts, but, we're all out there. We don't go together, we all kind of go our own way and
Spread out.
spot check it, yeah.
Spread out.
Anything else? Hold on a second.
If I just want to make a comment. I've been working the polls for years now, and I would say that you guys do a wonderful job. I mean, I have never seen anything where there's been any problems at any of the precincts that I've worked at. That doesn't necessarily
Thank you.
mean that there
Anything
hasn't
else?
been, but, yeah.
Just real quick, two more
Go
quick
ahead.
questions. If there's a way to improve, would you say that the board members are open to hearing that?
I'm always open to running a better operation, and if you have anything that you think that would make this more seamless, easy to vote, hard to cheat, and having integrity in our system, and if you think some of the systems we have in place could be better, we're always open to suggestions.
Good, good.
Can I ask a question? Have you ever been a poll worker?
I'm a poll watcher, so not a worker, not employed, but
Maybe you
poll
put
watcher.
that on your agenda to learn, come to the classes and become a poll worker to see how it works.
Yeah.
'Cause
I
as
seen,
a
I seen a
voter-
lot of it as a poll watcher, being there
Right,
all that
but-
time and
But
talking to
not
some
knowing the
people.
background of their decisions and what they're doing
Right.
would be better for you to understand it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there is a
that's-
process to it.
That's definitely a
If
possibility.
you have suggestions, we'd be more than happy
Okay,
to entertain
good,
any
good.
suggestions. We're just not hand counting ballots, I can tell you that right now. That's not gonna happen under my watch, because it would take us weeks to get results.
So that would be your main reason why you wouldn't, is that, because it would take weeks for results, is that true?
Well, they all
No,
have to
no,
be
because
counted at the
we're not
polls.
allowed.
No, I was
We
asking
have to
him.
have results.
Yeah, we have to have results. Look, so you understand the process. The computer chips are brought in,
Yeah,
okay? I wanna explain it to you.
Okay.
The computer chips are brought in. What you get on election night are unofficial results, okay? After that, we then take all of the provisionals, and the ones we can accept, the ones we can't accept, we don't accept, and then we rerun every paper ballot. We rerun it through the machines. So those ballots are kept in a safe under lock and key and camera, okay? No one goes into that safe alone. Always two people, a Republican and a Democrat, go in there. We rerun every ballot, and then after we rerun every ballot, we then hand count 5% of the precincts. It's never not been 100%. I think one time we had a vote change where someone marked something out of the box, but 99.5 or 100%, the hand recount to the machine count is spot on. So there would be I have no reason not to trust the machine counting process.
So there's other reasons besides the time, is what you're saying. Is that true?
Well,
Well,
the human error is greater than the machine error is what I'm telling you.
You would have to count all the ballots too before you left the polling location by law. So those people could be there till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning counting ballots. It's a real issue.
These
That's how the old
machines
work.
that are approved, they are vetted by the Secretary of State. They are vetted nationally, okay? We have paper backups. So there's no flipping of votes. That doesn't happen in this county.
Indian counties,
Pardon me?
Indian counties, all
Yeah.
88 counties, and I will say that Ohio has been one of the best when it comes to voting, and you do think it's because the Secretary of State, everything that he's implemented, the cybersecurity, the security when it comes to the ballots and how we handle everything, having one Democrat, one Republican, nobody can do anything without the other. This is why Ohio is the place that other states look to and ask the Secretary of State, what can we do to make things more efficient and better? Because we thrive ourselves on transparency, trust, integrity, all those things. And as you were saying, that's what makes the board and so effectively ran.
And even Donald Trump commended Frank LaRose on how they
He
ran
did.
elections.
He literally said he was one of the best. And
Well,
It's true.
Yeah.
I got it. I'm with you guys. I hear you. Real quick, last question. Earlier, Mr. Beatrice, you said that the board sets the policy. Is that in general for elections here in Ohio?
We have to follow what's under the revised code. okay?
Which
So when I
gives you
say
the
we
liberty
set
to do that,
policy,
is that true?
pardon me?
Which gives you the liberty to run it how you decide to run it.
No, we have to follow Ohio law. Ohio law outlines what has to be done certain days. We follow Ohio law. Like policy, I'll give you an example. We agreed to cash out Chris Rackesy's vacation pay. That's a policy we made because Chris Rackesy accumulated 250 hours that he did not take. That had he taken it, it would have crippled us. So that's a policy we set, and we think that's a good buy for us, that we don't have to bring in someone and pay them 5 times the amount when Chris is here to do our computers. Okay, so that's a policy. When I say policy, we don't just nimbly set policy. We are an independent board, independent of the county commissioners, and independent really of everyone, but we work under the auspices of the Secretary of State. He ultimately is the final authority on everything. If the Secretary of State wanted to, he could come in and say all of us are fired and replace us all. He has that authority.
But you have, within the confines of the code, have the ability to make decisions as long as it's in accordance with that code. Is that true?
We cannot do anything that's in contravention of Ohio law.
Okay, all right. So would you say that if there were ways to potentially improve the overall system here in Mahoning County, who would be the decision maker on that then? Would it
The
be?
board would be, provided
as long
it
as
was,
it was in con-
provided it was not in contravention of Ohio law.
Okay.
So if you brought a suggestion and Ohio law says, well, you can't do that,
Right.
then we couldn't do it, even if we wanted to,
Okay.
okay?
Mhm.
Anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
Anyone else have any comments? Go ahead.
This is you guys were talking about putting in the track system for people with mail-in ballots.
Right.
Did you put that into
Yeah,
place?
we explained that last board meeting. You can go on YouTube. These go up on YouTube. You could watch it. We had a very lengthy discussion about that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we implemented that and that's in the process.
It's in the process, I believe it starts in June, for the June elections. It's a small election, it's county-wide, but it's gonna be a very low turnout election. We're gonna test run it in June.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Yes.
If I may, let me share an experience when I first moved here back in 2000. I moved into the west side of Youngstown, and the first time I went to vote, I was a registered Republican. I went in to the table, and they asked me, I said I want a Republican ballot. And all through the hall of St. Brendan's went, Republican, Republican, Republican. I swear to God, that changed my attitude, and I became very suspicious, so
Right.
I can't get over that.
I used to be the chairman of the Democratic Party here.
I'm aware.
When you have two strong parties, it makes it better for the community. The Republican Party here for so many years was so weak, they didn't act as a check on the Democrats. That didn't improve our community. That was a demerit to our community. People should have to compete for your vote. And competition in all regards is good. And it has really evened itself out over the years now. And now these public officers have to compete for your vote. And that's how it should be. Nothing should be taken for granted. And that's how I feel.
Well, thank you. I think I'm going to take a little bit of credit because I moved here. It wasn't my idea, it was my wife's idea. It was kind of a disaster for me personally, but it seems to be working out.
I'll tell you, there are more Republican counties in Ohio than there are Democratic counties.
Oh, I know that.
Okay, and there are such Republican counties that they make Mahoning County, believe me, there are deep red counties that vote 80-20, 90-10. So there's more Republican counties than there are Democratic counties.
I'm not sure about that deep red color, but that's a personal thing.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
All right.
Thank you.
The next regular scheduled adjourned regular meeting for the Mahoning County Board of Election is set for Monday, March 18th, 2024 at 6 p.m. in the boardroom of the Mahoning County Board of Elections Office, 345 Oak Hill, Youngstown, Ohio, 44502, set to adjourn after the close of polls, collection, tabulations, release of the unofficial presidential primary vote, total results. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
There's a motion made by Bob Arndt to adjourn. Is there a second? Seconded by Joyce Gale-Pesta. Is there any questions? Hearing none, would the director call the roll?
Sandy Barger,
Yes.
Ms. Barger, Attorney Beatrice?
Yes.
Mr. Ard?
Yes.
Ms. Gilpin?
This meeting is adjourned.